Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of a Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we will be going through a live reaction of the patch 1.5 notes. I have not seen these yet. I have not seen any spoilers. I have avoided any of that. Obviously I have some idea, and obviously they're going to be talking about some other things, notably labs, as you can see. Season 4 goes with patch 1.5 labs, new game mode, all about variety, chaos, quality of life, and a few balance changes. So let's take a look then. So balance in 1.5 and beyond. Contains a couple of balances as part of our usual. Yeah, well, we're not going to start making balances every time. We saw an opportunity to quickly turn around a few key changes and get them into your hands. This is something that I want to just quickly speak about because I think this is probably the most important thing. And again, the Riot dev team just going way beyond, I think, other games in terms of this. Like, they recognize that the game is probably in the worst state it's been, and so, you know, they rush out a patch quicker than expected. And whether that patch will, you know, impact enough, I've just seen that on the screen there is some spoilers for what it contains, but we won't go into that just yet. It's good for me to know that, okay, if there is a bad meta at any point, if, you know, something is gone really wrong and something's really toxic and we don't really want to play it, then we don't have to wait a month. That they're willing to go, okay, next time, 2 weeks, don't worry, we'll have 2 bad weeks and then we'll get right on it and then we'll be fine. And then you can play the game and be happy again. That's really reassuring, because it does make, if they make mistakes, which they're likely to do, of course. Balance is very, very difficult in card games, and you can pretty much look at every card game and see the balance is really, really hard, and everyone thinks, you know, oh, I do this, this, and this, but because, you know, each card has an individual place within every single deck, and everything affects everything else, and things have good matchups against other things. So if one thing is strong, it makes other things weaker, and, you know, it's a whole mess that it's very easy to get wrong. So I'm expecting them to get it wrong, and, you know, this last balance patch they got pretty wrong in my opinion. Just from looking at it at the start. The one before that they got very right. You know, that's what can happen, but this is very good for me because at least they'll be fresh for at least a couple days, and then if something ends up being oppressive, we've still got 1.6 that's only 2 weeks away, where I expect we'll get a somewhat, probably lesser, but normal balance patch as well. So updates we're currently working on include Heimer associated cards, reworking discard units. That's good, and adjustments to Nexus damage or cheap Noxus units. Okay, let's go straight into it. I think we understand what labs are. So pilfered goods becomes 3 mana. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I still. This is a change that a lot of people will be excited for and happy for, and overall I'd say it's good, in terms of these cards needed to change in some way. However, a lot of people, and I've seen Mogwai say that, you know, it's just a bad mechanic, it shouldn't be in the game, blah, blah, blah. I completely disagree with that. It should be in the game. I think it's a very cool idea, and is a very, very cool way of associating cards with Twisted Fate, right? You have to think, for every champion they need to have associated cards which help them level up. They just talked about upgrading the discard cards. That's because, you know, Jinx in her sort of deck with, you know, the other discard cards aren't good enough, right? And so that's why they're going to change them, because, you know, champions, they always come with their associated cards. And Pilfered Goods is a Twisted Fate card. I know it doesn't necessarily speak Twisted Fate because it's not about cards, but it is, because obviously you're drawing, and that's what Twisted Fate is all about. And I thought drawing from your opponent's deck is a really cool way of drawing, but not making it overpowered, because when you're drawing from your opponent's deck, it tends to be worse because it's not necessarily synergistic with your deck. But this is a change that I can get on board with. I personally, again, would have preferred if they just showed you the cards. I think that it would have been fine if you left it at that, because then you can play around whatever it is. This card at 3 mana, it's going to be pretty tough to see play. Pilfered Goods was already the worst of Black Market Merchant and Pilfered Goods by quite a bit anyway. A 2 mana, even a 2/1 body now that draws you 1 at a discounted rate, even if it is from your opponent deck, is way better than just a 2 mana draw 2 from your opponent deck. Pilfered Goods was a very slow card, now it's even slower, so I don't think you'll be seeing Pilfered Goods any longer, and I'm sure many of you will be happy about that. And honestly, I kind of got to the point where I'm with most of you at this point and don't see it. But I really like the idea of stealing from your opponent's deck as a kind of theme with Bilge War, a way to level up Twisted Fate. I thought it was a really, really good idea, but it just needed some tweaking. They've gone down the more, nerf route. Going from 2 to 3 mana for any spell is pretty massive. We've seen it in other things like, standalone went from 3 to 4, unplayable. And expect kind of similar things for Pilfered Goods as well. Even Deep Meditation is kind of unplayable, and that's drawing from your deck where you want those things, and that's only you have to get the discount as well. But yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing Pilfered Goods anymore. Solitary Monk's base stat and keywords are the strongest in the game. What have they changed? Is she a 3/3? 4/4? So I'm guessing here, so we're choosing to adjust her damage output rather than utility to focus her more on dedicated strategies. I'm guessing that means she's a 3/3. We can't actually see the card here, but I assume that is what is going on. If those are the two changes they've made, they've noted that they are going to change Heimerdinger. Let's talk about Solitary Monk at first. They are completely right, of course, that Solitary Monk was used way too much in too many strategies. You have to remember that they probably designed Solitary Monk and Navori Conspirator for actually Yasuo decks. Is what I think they were going for. I think when the cards first came out, their ideas were, we're going to get Inspiring Mentor, Navori Conspirator, Solitary Monk in a Yasuo type Tempo Ionia deck. I think that's what they were going for. Obviously what we ended up with instead is, forget Yasuo, we don't need Yasuo in that deck, it's an elusive deck. I don't think that they were trying to push elusives as just elusives. They have the recall keyword. So it's interesting. It's certainly an interesting one. I would say it's a good change. It's a change I would have made as well. 3 mana 3/3 elusive with a drawback. That's pretty big. It is very big, to be honest. It'll probably still see some play, but I think they're right that you're gonna need a dedicated strategy where you better be having 1-drops that you don't mind, or 2-drops that you don't mind playing again and again. But yeah, I think this is a really good change as well, because stuff like Heimer Vice shouldn't be playing Solitary Monk. It's basically as simple as that. Yeah, if Heimer Vice fits in that card, then you've got a problem. I still think Heimer Vice will be good, but it might struggle to find an effective 3-drop that can put pressure on when needed. Like it could be a pretty big change, I would say. So I mean, I'm delighted about the change. It's a card that I definitely wanted to see change, but it looks like that's it. They got some card clarity, some expedition stuff, vaults, bug fixes. Okay, I was expecting a little more. I would have expected maybe the change to Heimer to come now, but it looks like we've got 2 more weeks of Heimer Vi. With the Solitary Monk change, it could shake things up. It could, but I probably would have preferred a more overarching elusive nerf. Like Kinko Elusives doesn't play that. I obviously would have preferred Will of Ionia to be nerfed, because I'll probably keep calling for it, and I think I'm going to make a prediction right now. They're going to nerf Will of Ionia. I'm going to say whenever the next set comes out, about the next balance patch after that. I think that's when Will of Ionia will get nerfed. Because then when the card pool increases even more, and people are still running 3 Will of Ionia in decks, that aren't to do with Yasuo, I think they might finally cotton on to the fact that that card is just a little too strong. But we shall see. So we know that the Heimerdinger associate cards are getting nerfed, which is interesting. and I think that's a good thing that they're changing the elusive one. That will open up so many things. That'll be the real nerf to Heimervi. Heimervi will die after that for 100%, and Heimerdinger might have to find more niche play. You know, depending on exactly what they do. Heimer Lux, I think, could still be potentially okay. But yeah, it depends. It depends if they make the elusives the 2 ones, and kind of, I think that would probably make Heimerdinger somewhat useless. Or if they make them the 4 ones, maybe people can find ways. It probably still would be Ionia at that point to combine with Will of Ionia to get the 4-1 elusive turrets. But it not being 3 is really important as well, because otherwise you can't play Heimer on 5 and then get Flash of Brilliance into, you know, Flash of Brilliance 3 times into 3 turrets into Twin Disciplines, which is obviously very important as well. So I was expecting a bit more. To be honest, we're 12 minutes in as I look at this now, but we can look at labs and see what this includes. Labs are instead where gauntlets are aimed. You can now also try them out with a friend. Oh, friend challenge now offers a choice between a standard match and a current lab. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. I'm really glad they did that. Okay, that could be a lot of fun if you have friends. That is. The first lab, ARAM, is available and features unexpected champion matchups and unpredictable outcomes. Rather than building a deck, you'll make choices from random selection of champions when the game starts. The champions you choose will start in your hand and generate a deck for you to pilot against your opponent's equally random creation. Every patch after 1.5 will include a new or updated lab to replace the previous one. Some labs will experiment with small changes to the classic lore formula, while others will offer new game modes or more extreme takes on card play in the world of Runeterra. Yeah, so basically crazy things. I really like that they've added the friend challenge to that. That sounds pretty exciting. The one that let's talk about these now. I've talked about Heimerdinger. Reworking discard units to increase their satisfaction and usability. For me, the problem with the discard cards was there aren't enough things to discard to make it worth it. Obviously you can play Draven, and he gives you some discard outlets, and that's fine. But what have you got? Jury Rig and Vision? Are those the 2? It feels like 2 is not enough, right? If you wanted a full discard package deck, it feels like 2 dedicated cards that give you something when they're discarded as well isn't enough. And Jury Rig obviously doesn't give you that much, particularly in an offensive manner. You got to remember that obviously we're talking about Jinx here, and probably Draven as well. They had in mind, you know, for a Jinx Draven deck, discard. Jury Rig obviously just is not an aggressive enough unit. They can't really make Jury Rig a 2-1 because that would probably be too strong to play at burst speed as well, so they can't really do much with it. But I wish that they would have gone for something else. Maybe even make, you know, Jury Rig a 2-mana spell that creates a 3/2. Like, that would be more in line with I think, maybe that would be too strong as well, because you could just play that a burst speed. Yeah, you can do that. Maybe a 2/2, maybe, or even a 3/1. That might be better. A 3/1, something, just something to, you know, attack with, and be discarded with. Maybe even make it like, oh, that would be interesting. If you made it like, I don't know, a 3-mana 3/2, but if you discard it, you get it. That would be more interesting, I think. Anyway, yes, those are the card changes. I keep just stay on track. God, it's like my mind's all over the place. I was expecting more, but here we go. Adjustments to direct Nexus damage and on cheap Noxus units. I wonder what they are referencing here. Yeah, this is obviously going to be Crimson Disciple and Imperial Demolitionist. They might make Disciple do 1 damage instead of 2. It wouldn't shock me if they did that. And I think that would be probably a pretty good change. Transfusion is a strong card, but it's not over the top, I think, in terms of its ability. I think it's quite a cool card to have in the game. And if Crimson Disciple was 1 instead of 2, that would affect things quite a lot. Because then obviously multiple pings on Disciple aren't that important. I've said that Imperial Demolitionist should be a 2/2 2 in the past. I'm still with that because most of her ability, most of her value comes from her ability anyway, so I don't see why she needs a decent body as well. Like the strength of the card lies in the normal ability, and its normal ability is way beyond other cards. So I don't see why that should also be a 2/3 and sit with a good stat line as well. To me, it seems like it should be a 2/2. Like if you compare it to Black Market Merchant. Black Market Merchant is now a 2/1. That when it comes down, it has a pretty strong ability. Well, Imperial Demolitionist has a pretty strong ability as well. I would say, somewhere on equal power level within their relative decks. So why is one a 2/3 and why is one a 2/1? That to me just doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them change. Are there any Legion Saboteur? I doubt they'd make that a 1/1 after nerfing Rearguard as well. It was always weird to me that they picked on Rearguard. It seemed like there were much better options to have, but yeah, I don't see them changing Legion Saboteur, and if they did, that would be terrible. They can't really change Precious Pet either, so I think I'll just be those two. Maybe Legion Grenadier, but I don't see how you change that card really either. Maybe make that 1 damage, but then I think that card's just unplayable. So, I would say, yeah, I'd say they'll just change the 2 for now, and I think that's gonna be it for this one. To be honest, the 2 changes that they made, I'm pretty happy with. What they've done with Pilfered, what they've done with the whole nav package, I'm not thrilled about. I don't think it's ideal. Solitary Monk, again, I'm assuming it's a 3/3. If it's not, then just disregard everything I've said, but it's a nerf in some way. Clearly it must be. I can't see what it is. Maybe you can, and but yeah, I'm pretty happy with what they've done, and I'm pretty happy with what they're alluding to here. Again, the clarity. Look at how clear they're being with us as well here. Like, look, we are going to do this. Like this is really reassuring because there are 3 things that I think most players would agree with need changing, and so couldn't they have just changed Heimer right now though? That's my only thing. Couldn't they just have done that now, so that I never had to see Heimer Vi again, or we could see a completely different meta, because that's I think how it would shake out if Heimerdinger wasn't there. Maybe there needs to be some changes to Illustrious of the Well. And change Will of Ionia. That's how I'm going to end the video. I'm not going to speak anymore. My mind's all over the place, clearly, as you can tell. I have been Chris. Thank you so much for watching. Have a really nice day.